Good morning. My name is Angela Pickett. I am one of the CATS managers for Central Region. The other CATS manager is Sean Quinlan. We have the privilege to, I started in April and Sean started in August, but we've been hitting the ground running, very busy. Central Region, again, is composed of 11 states. We have North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. I think I got them all. We also have the unique privilege of having two offices. We have our Kansas City office, which I'm based out of, and we also have our Chicago office, of which we have 10 new inspectors there. The Ohio office is unique in the sense that Eastern Region is responsible for anything occurring in Ohio, but yet also HAZMAT has their responsibilities for Ohio. So sometimes people will, and this occurred in 2015. So sometimes we'll get calls from Ohio and we have to get those over to Eastern Region. And so we share a lot of our responsibilities in terms of CATS managers. One of the first projects that I was involved in, and I hit the ground running. I had just started my assignment, and on the first day, I went up to Lincoln, Nebraska for promoting calling or Safe Digging Month, of which is April, and have my little appearance in the background. But what was unique about this for Nebraska is they also promoted it with children, and they had a poster contest, and in the front, the gentleman with the cap, that is the governor of Nebraska, and so very supportive of that program. The next slide features also National Safe Digging Month. This occurred at the end of April. This was in our Kansas City office. It occurred on the Bring Your Kid to Work Day. The far picture on the right was one of our inspectors decided to make a dummy inspector. Very creative. It was kind of last minute, but very good, creative. A lot of the kids came in saying, "What is that? Is that a real inspector?" It's like, no, it's a dummy. Then we also had slide projections, and so that was a pretty good event. The next event was calling 811, and that was National 811 Day in August. I attended the Iowa State Fair, and that was pretty interesting. We had, on the first day, there were 10,000 that showed up, had a lot of presents coming through. We coordinated with Iowa, giving out, material about calling 811. The far right picture features Gabby. That's their mascot for calling 811. Really good. And then in the middle, they had what they call a little wheel, sort of like Wheel of Fortune, so wheel for 811, and just different little 811 gadgets to promote calling 811. And it was really well attended. I tried to get a slide in, but we had lines of people. And so it got to the point, it's like, okay, give the kids this one and give the adults this one in order to get the event moving. But it was really good outreach, and it was a lot of fun. One of those 100-degree days in August, but it was a lot of fun. Fortunately, this was also inside their conference center. The next slide is the NENA conference, which was a National Emergency Number Association conference. And this one was a good one in the fact that I coordinated with Southwest Region and at this NENA event. And the outreach was approximately 6,000 people on the 2 days that we were there. The next event, I went to Waters Meet, Michigan. Had never heard of it before. It was really good. It entailed meeting with the Lagbu Desert Dancing Eagles tribe. And they were very receptive. They had interest in Line 5 as well as PHMSA. They hadn't really not heard a lot about PHMSA. So I did a presentation there. And as I said, it was in Waters Meet, Michigan. I think I went to Grand Rapids, and then I drove about another 300 miles. But it was worth it. It was well attended and very well received. Another one was that I deal with, and this gets into how we have our outreach with the public. We get lots of calls. And so this picture on the left, far right, features a landowner in Kansas. She has approximately 50 acres, and she was calling because she was finding holes on her property, really symmetric holes. And initially when she had called different agencies within Kansas, and she had called PHMSA. And when the call finally got to me and I spoke with her, she said, well, these holes are over the pipeline. And, you know, very concerned. I'm like, holes over the pipeline? And she said, yes, I can see the pipeline. I'm like, okay. So, of course, I contacted the operator. Operator was very receptive. And they said, well, we had been out there 3 weeks prior, and those holes are not on the pipeline. They're about 20 feet away, and we have 2 parallel lines. And so I made arrangements to meet the operator out there. And on the day that we got out there, I also called the landowner, and she led us on the property. And the 3 of us, the landowner, myself, and Sean, the other CATS manager, we walked on her property, and we found the holes, but the hole was actually 20 feet away from the pipeline. And so, you know, we took pictures, and in the meantime, I also found out that another entity in Kansas was also looking into the issue. They were called the Abandoned Oil and Gas Well Group, and I communicated with them, and they were also sending people out there to investigate. So as it stands right now, they're still doing an investigation and inspection on their property to find out where these holes are coming from. And so I will be following up with that one. The other one, we always have the right-of-way issues again. That's going to come up a lot with probably all our different regions. But in this case, we get a lot where there's overgrowth of trees, and they're, you know, near the pipeline, or they're going across the pipeline as well as the person's property. And so we get a lot of those calls, and how do you address those? And so, of course, I'll always contact the operator through email as well as phone call, and we discuss it, and then they have someone go out, and they also do inspection. And generally what has happened is they have gone out and they have done clearing on those right-of-ways. And then this one, again, is just a unique bringing to the point that, you know, what do we do? You know, you just say, okay, they're CATS managers. What do they do? And as I said, I started in April of this year. And since in the last 6 months, I have addressed over 140 calls and emails from the public regarding pipeline safety issues. I have participated in 14 outreach events in Kansas, Missouri, Indiana, Michigan, Nebraska, Illinois, North Dakota, and South Dakota. And I have participated in 3 emergency drills and exercises. And again, if you want to reach us, again, this is Karen Lynch, and then Artie Buff, and then I'm Angela Pickett. Thank you.